Good evening, everybody. Gene here with Victory is Near Ministries. I got another message. I hope it blesses you. The title of it is called Creature, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about fulfillment, passions, what drives you, what type of things stirs in your heart when you wake up in the morning, what kind of things gives you excitement out of life, so to speak. Life is very exciting. Life is strange. No pun intended. But, life is strange, and we wake up every day, and we wake up with wanting some kind of purpose. What kind of purpose do you have in your life? What kind of goals do you want to achieve? Which, there's nothing wrong with goals. Goals are a good thing. The Bible says men perish because they lack a vision. But the message is called Creature. I titled it this because we are creatures by nature. We are living, breathing mammals. But we are also creatures in the depths of our hearts. And we all have darkness in our hearts that we struggle with, and things that we don't want other people knowing. Only you know, when you look in the mirror, what you deal with daily. So let's kind of get into this message and talk about some of these things. We are consumers by nature. We consume, we eat, we consume as far as the things that we try to achieve in life. More. Well, that wasn't enough. I got to do more. Got to get more money. Got to get more. Whatever your more is. We have a phrase that most people probably live by in the society and through the world. It's do what makes you happy, which all in well, there's nothing wrong with that. To some of the extent. But we also have a say what you want mentality and do what you want mentality also in the world. So let's kind of jump right into it. Let's talk about King Solomon. That's who I'm talking about. King Solomon was a wise man, but he was also a wealthy man. And King Solomon said in Ecclesiastes 2:1, he said this: I said to myself, come on, let's try pleasure. Let's look for the good things in life. But I found that this too is meaningless. Why would Solomon say that if he was looking for the good things in life? Because if it's good things, it's good, Happiness, joy, peace, fulfillment. Yeah, let's get that stuff. Because it's good, right? Why would that be bad? Why would it be meaningless? Pointless, Pretty much is what he's saying. It's good, but it's pointless. Head scratcher, is what it sounds like. But let's go on and we'll discover that together. Okay, some of the pleasures that he took in was this. This is some of the good things that Solomon tried. He drank wine, he built houses, and he built vineyards. That doesn't sound too bad. He bought slaves, both male and female, bought animals, and collected gold and silver. A little darker there. But then again, that's what he wanted to do. That's what it was fulfilling him. That was his passion. He hired singers, both male and female, and had many concubines of beautiful women. So he was wealthy. He had beautiful women, sleep with a different woman, or maybe, male partners. I'm not very sure on that. But Solomon, it says he had many female partners. So he had mistresses. He could have a different woman every night if he wanted. He could drink himself silly. You get the picture. He could have anything he wanted. And this was actually his own words. In his own words, it says also, and this is also in the Bible, in the Word of God, I I had everything a man could desire. Anything I wanted, I would take. I denied myself no pleasure. That's Ecclesiastes 2:10. But he also found pleasure in hard work. He worked for a lot of things he had to. Like I said, he built houses. And even the things he worked for, he said, was meaningless. He said it was like chasing the wind, and that there was nothing worthwhile anywhere. So anywhere anything he done, it just eventually, like, it didn't mean anything. But he did come to realize that whether you was wise or whether you was a fool, death consumed you. We all go to the grave someday. So we got this one life. It's like a legacy. You got to build it up. How are you going to display your life in front of people? What kind of goals are you achieving that's going to make people look at you and say, oh, this person's cool. Oh, this person had this. Oh, this person, they done, what is your life going to say about you when you're dead and gone? But even though he consumed all this stuff and got all these things, what kind of things do you consume? What kind of things do you engage in? Because he done all this that covers pretty much what most of the majority of people today do, and he still wasn't happy. None of this stuff completely fulfills you and gives you joy. You always feel empty by the end of however so long that you continue to seek this stuff. And Solomon come to the realization that most people just drink and eat to the satisfaction of their own toil. So they pretty much, they indulge in these things to just get enjoyment out of the things because they feel they deserve it. But he also realized that everything we have is a gift from God. And he realized that apart from God, there is no thing that we have without God. James 1:7 says this: every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. So, Solomon figured out pretty much that everything we do in life is not eventually going to end in disappointment and sadness. So you can do those things. You can drink all the beers and the wine. You can have all the parties. You can sleep with all the multiple people that you want, but you'll eventually still feel this emptiness inside. It won't complete you. So what drives us? It's our passions. Like I said in the beginning, our passions is what drives us to want to achieve these goals and do these things. So you might be asking yourself that, well, if I can do all these things and I'll still never feel full completeness and joy, what do I do? How do I conquer this desire in me that are just chasing after all these empty things? Well, that's when you turn to God. Whether you decided in your heart now that you want to, or you think, well, I'll have time for God when I'm dying or something like that. Well, your life is just but a vapor, so you're not promised tomorrow. So why don't you think about turning to God and letting Him give you full joy in things? So I got some verses here that I'm going to read, and well, it's taking a little bit of time to load. But I encourage you to go read Romans 11 through 13. And it says this, Romans 6, 11 through 13 says this: In the same way, count yourselves dead to sin and alive to God in Jesus Christ. Therefore, do not let sin reign in your mortal body so that you obey its evil desires. Do not offer any part of yourself to sin as an instrument of wickedness, but rather yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and offer every part of yourself as him to an instrument of righteousness. So, there you have it. Offer yourself to God as an instrument of righteousness, and stay away from the wickedness. I hope this has blessed you, and I hope it has touched you. So I pray that you really consider things that I've said, and I'll be praying for every one of you. Love everybody. God bless.